Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside the Borough, the FAU podcast for and by fans, brought to you by FAUOwlsNest.com. I'm joined here with the usual crew of Shane and Jack. FAU celebrating yet another conference victory, staying undefeated in the conference, beating Marshall. Another great victory. Never beat Marshall before. Pretty good game that we enjoyed. And so tonight we're going to talk about Marshall. We're going to talk a little bit about bowls, kind of some early predictions that they've been thrown out there, and then also get into this week's opponent, Louisiana Tech. So I guess to kind of start off with Marshall, it was certainly we seemed to really start the games out well. Went up early. I like that we kind of the shades of Snellenberger winning the coin toss and then receiving and then scoring. Snellenberger, I kind of feel he was always big with that, not deferring. So that was kind of cool to see us do. And I'll let you guys talk a little bit more about what your thoughts are. But very exciting game. Kind of sucks that the rain came down and kind of ruined. I shouldn't say ruined, kind of lessened the amount of people that were there. But the people that were there that stuck through the rain really brought a lot of energy. So FAU undefeated still, number one in the conference, basically control our own destiny to the conference championship. So it was a fun game. Jack, what did you take away from this game?
To go on your comment about the rain, it definitely did just kill the vibe for a second because it was pouring cats and dogs. People started running towards the exits. But the fans that stood around in the rain and then the fans that came back after the rain ended, there is a different feel to the game. I could sense it. It was as if we were getting rid of the memories of all those other rained out games in the past where we blew leads and choked games away. And all that was just gone out of our memories because we finally beat Marshall for the first time. We became bowl eligible and we came back after an awful third quarter to finish a game. It was so real. It wasn't like the FAU that we're used to seeing in years past. So that was great to see. Again, the third quarter, we just got our butts kicked, man. There's no nice way to go around that. I definitely felt like we were going to lose that game midway or through the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter. I felt the exact same way against the Western Kentucky game. So I was really happy to see how resilient the team was. Also happy to see the playbook open up with a couple trick plays. You had that one drive that went, 95 yards. And the last two plays were all trick plays. Reverse flea flicker to Harrison Bryant. Then you had the double pass from Cameron Solomon to Motor. So it was good. It was just relieving to finally become bowl eligible and to get that win over Marshall.
Yeah, I kind of like how you guys talked about. I definitely think after the rain, the fans that stayed, especially on the home side or kind of the diehards who've been there forever, were like, I've been through 4 years of losses to Marshall, and the energy when we're like, you know what, I'm sticking this out. We've stuck it out through the rain. I think 60% of the FU games I've gone to over the last 4 years, I've gotten wet. In some fashion, and the energy was great. I kind of wish, I was saying during the game, those sections, and I'm calling you guys out, like the lower 100s, you guys need to be like that the first three quarters. I mean, it's 3rd and 8 and 2 people are standing up there. But that energy at the end was great. I don't know where it kind of came from, but, it was the most fun I had at an FAU game in 5 years. It was just fun to finally beat Marshall. It was a close game. You had the wacky ending. There was like kind of this community feel to it at the end, which was so great. Marshall just, I was kind of expecting a game like that as well as we've been playing. You guys know I'm big on recruiting. They've recruited pretty much just as well as we have. And this is one of the biggest teams we've seen up front in the conference, probably the second biggest front we've seen all year, behind Wisconsin. So we weren't going to just push them around or run past them every play like we can do some other schools in the conference. So we really had to earn our yards, which we did. It's a lot of credit to Marshall. I mean, they're a good football team. Like Wayne said earlier in the week, this is a team that was hanging around with NC State, and we were catching them off a week they played bad. And you knew Doc Holliday was going to have them ready, and they were. Our coaches are smart. We run the ball, force turnovers, and we made Chase Linton throw it 39 times. And when an average college quarterback throws it 39 times, he's probably going to throw 3 or 4 picks. And that's what we banked on.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I'm looking at the stats now, and I didn't realize this. Marshall kind of outplayed us on offense anyway, easily. I mean, they had more yards, time of possession. They won by over 10 minutes. They had more first.
Everyone's going to beat us in time of possession.
What?
Everyone's going to beat us in time of possession.
That's true. But I mean, they really they kind of beat us up for a little bit, and I think one of the nice things that we've kind of consistently seen is that even when we don't play, kind of in years past, if we didn't play a dang near perfect game, we were going to lose. It was almost just guaranteed we were going to have one big fumble that was going to ruin everything. We'd have a big blown coverage or something like that would lead to a touchdown or a crucial field goal or something like that. We're still winning even though we're not playing perfect. I mean, I think we can all say that, especially in the passing game, we wish that we would do much better. But it's nice that we can kind of have that faith. I think the Western game was really big because I think that taught us that we were down for a lot of the game, and that the team kind of stayed true to who they were, and then got the big play, turned the game. So same thing kind of happened with Marshall.
It's so nice for the first time, especially after Western Kentucky, for the first time it was even. They were converting a lot of their third downs, which, we talk about every week on the show. Right? Teams are going to do that to us with kind of like a lot of the too high man we play. It's just the design of our defense. And, they were getting us on their slant routes. A couple guys fell down in the secondary and guys got open. But the whole time, and we've never felt like this for a while, is you just felt like someone was going to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make a play. Okay. They got the onside. All right. They went down and scored. We're going to make a play. Someone's going to make a play. We got this. It's just that's been kind of the theme of this team all year. Kind of when we need that big play during this win streak, we've gotten it.
Yeah.
And every week it's someone different.
About to say
especially
that.
Especially defensively. I mean, against Western Kentucky, Andrew Sora had a pick and a fumble recovery. And this week it was, Jalen Young with 3 interceptions, which we'll talk about later. I wish was 2, but, he got the 3rd pick. So, so every week it's, Sean Lewis, who is great, had a huge bat down in the end zone earlier in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could have had a pick there. I mean, and then they missed the field goal. I mean, that's a 7-point swing on that play.
Yeah.
And he had another interception. It's Aziz out there consistently running around. I said this before the show. Aziz is as good as a defensive player as Motor is an offensive player. And, linebackers aren't going to get all the stats and crazy highlights, but he is that good. He's an amazing player and leader on this team.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. You can certainly see when other players are doing well. He's obviously he's kind of right in the thick of things, getting everybody hyped up. He's a fun player to watch. So if you're not watching him, during the game, just watch him because he's pretty pretty fun to watch.
I love seeing Aziz and Jalen Young's emotions on the field. Those two guys are definitely some of the most hyped out there. Aziz can be calm sometimes, but when he has a big hit or he's a part of a big gang tackle, I just love to see him chirping a little bit to the offensive player. And
he went with the full all his entire face. I rewatched some of the game. His entire face was just covered in black, and the eye paint.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. The old Vikings defensive end that used to do that. And then of course Jalen just makes play after play after play, and is always around the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the secondary, and you can just see how much fun they're having out there.
Yeah.
I feel like we throw around this term around too loosely, but it is a perfect way to describe these defensive backs. They're playmakers. They're gonna try and get the big play when they can, get the sexy interception or the big hit. A lot of times they give up, some chunk yardage, some junk throws, passes. I mean, but they're big ball hawks don't even describe their mentality.
It's what you should be good at. I mean, if you had to pick, as talented as the state of Florida is, and I watch a lot of high school games. I mean, DB is the most talented of the most in the most talented state. It's our deepest position. So if you're gonna be a South Florida G5 school, I mean, there are so many good defensive backs running around. I mean, just look at the top. I mean, you're talking 4 of the top 10 corners in the entire 2018 class in the entire country. 4 of the top 10, I'm not even including the juniors, are in Broward or in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyson Campbell, Patrick Surtain, Asante Samuel, and there's all these guys. I mean, Stanley, all these young guys now that are just playing in Broward and Miami-Dade and in Tampa. And it's a stacked DB, and you could tell the way these guys play now, they're just like they play in high school. Man coverage, you versus me. I was watching some of the Oklahoma State Oklahoma game. Granted, I always make this comparison. I think out there in these Texas schools, these kids are, they're taught at a younger age. Offense is a little better. They're coached to a little bit of a different type of level with coaches being full time. Like, to play DB, eventually, it doesn't matter how much you're coached. You just got to go cover somebody. And you watch the Bedlam game. There's 70 points between each team. They're playing all this soft man coverage, just hoping guys miss throws. And there's none of this, I'm just going to line up against you and make sure you don't get open.
There's definitely a lack of swagger, that confidence that those types of DBs have compared to DBs from South Florida or south of I-4. It's something that you can see with this FAU defensive backboard. It's fun to watch, man.
Yeah,
and it's just great to. I know we talked about this already, but it's just so great to finally beat Marshall. They come down here and recruit our players, bring them up to Huntington, West Virginia. We're building a wall down here. We're going to make Conference USA pay for it. We're going to keep all the recruits down here, and then to become bowl eligible on our first win over Marshall as well. It's just icing on the cake.
Yeah. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about Marshall, but I don't think I can remember it anymore. So out of that, Motor was Offensive Player of the Week yet again, which is pretty awesome. We also had the Defensive Player of the Week, and I think we're up to number Jalen Young is tied for second in picks.
Yeah.
In the country, and FAU's up to FAU's in the top 10 in interceptions.
we're gonna have to borrow the turnover chain.
We now, I'm pretty sure we're either 1 or 2 in turnover differential, and we've been top 5 in interceptions.
Yeah, and a lot of times, a lot of advanced statistic guys, kind of with turnover differential. A lot of times those stats Year to year, they say they even out. If you're way ahead in turnover differential, that'll kind of even out the next year. But a lot of that times is stuff with like random fumble recoveries and just kind of freak plays. I mean, our interceptions are earned. It's designed that way. We talked about this. They're saying we want to make Chase let him throw it. He threw the ball 39 times. It's okay. 39 times. We're gonna get 4 of them.
So
and we didn't even put a lot of pressure on him. We rushed 3 most of the night, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I think they beat us on a couple blitzes. I'm not a huge fan. I don't think we've had much success when we blitz this year. But yeah, we rushed 3. We didn't put a lot of pressure on them. They said throw back into this. Yeah. I mean, our guys are gonna be on your guys.
Yeah, I think speaking of the interceptions, like Western Kentucky has 7 all year, and how many? 3 of those are ours. Marshall has 9 all year. 4 of those are ours. So I mean, like we are it. In like years past, and with interceptions, you could say, like, oh well, that was a bad throw. Like I remember that one UNT fan that was on the board that was like, well, if you weren't playing a 17-year-old quarterback who was just throwing the ball up to get intercepted, you wouldn't have all those interceptions. It's like the interceptions that we're not just getting tipped balls from defensive linemen. I mean, like you said, Shane, that the interceptions are earned. So like we're kind of beyond that lucky interception. We are the ones. The defense is causing, whether it's the defensive back making a good play or the defensive front getting enough pressure, confusion, in the secondary where the looks are.
I think there's a lot of confusion in the secondary. I think they cover a lot of ground. They force tight windows. I mean, some of the ones that on TV it might look like a bad throw, but I believe the one that Shelton Lewis picked off that was kind of overthrown. Chase Linton was trying to put it in a tight window over a linebacker, and Shelton Lewis kind of pulled off his guy and, went behind it. And it's pretty much designed there. So if you overthrow this, it's fine. And, you have to make an absolute perfect pass.
Yeah. So, game ended kind of funny. If you should go back and check all of Lane's tweets about the spread and the safety that we took, which was it was the right play. I think it was the right play, but I don't think it should have been as close. But
yeah, I could say this about the ending. I know they said this week they had a chart, and like most schools have this based on if we have the ball and they have no timeouts. Do we need here? I think the chart was misinterpreted a little bit. They did like kind of the math poorly. Lane was saying that he didn't be right, and the assistant's like, math that just tell Driscoll to wait a few extra seconds, and there was a differential there. I wasn't a huge fan of the safety because of this. I thought I understand you take the safety, but it didn't burn the clock. And if you punted it there and you punted it out of bounds, I mean, you got to take the snap, and the snap has to be good anyways. So if the guy's going to get the ball cleanly on the snap, he might as well punt it away, hang it in the air for a little bit, and put it out of bounds. That way, if Marshall has a play, let's say, and I think if he did it, punted to his average 40, 45 yards, they're at their 30. If they get a freak play, they tie the game. Now, with the safety, if they get a freak play, they win the game.
Yep.
So, I know in that last play, I saw the entire Charlie Partridge era spin before my eyes as they were pitching the ball around, just waiting for
somebody to break free.
Yeah. But, also, when they started kneeing the ball, the first thing I said was, someone was like, whoa, there's going to be time left over. I said, I wish Quez would have needed at Wyoming.
3 knees and a field goal. Yeah.
So, I remember doing the math on Quez. They were trying to run it in, and Charlie was like, there would have been 19 seconds. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, there's 19 seconds to go 90 yards. So
we also went backwards like 20 yards. So instead of punting it from like the 30. We were punting from the 5 or 10. So that was also
I don't blame
we
you.
kept taking the knee. We kept going. I just kept thinking, stop. We still have to punt the ball. Stop running backwards so far. And then when Marshall picked it up, it wasn't a very good squib kick. The guy caught it. I thought, all right, he caught it. He's just going to fall down because now you can easily get to the end zone from the 50-yard line. Like Linton didn't throw that. Like I thought it was great that he did the lateral because that's a.
I hate the squib kick. I don't know why the squib kick's in the game. This is what I don't get about the squib kick. All the squib kick does is get the ball to the returner faster.
Yeah. Right.
Like that's what I've never got it. Anytime a coach does a squib kick, there's 35 seconds until halftime, and you see the squib kick it to the guy, right? And I remember we did this at FIU with Charlie Partridge a few years ago. We were really afraid of that corner they had. It was the first game I believe he lost down there.
Yeah.
The corner they had returning it. So we would squib kick it, and the upgack would get it at the 30, and he'd run to like the 45. And I said, "You're afraid of the returner for what? So he can get a long return to what, like the 45?"
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather him return one to the house and you get him at the 23 times as opposed to getting the team the ball at the 45.
Yeah.
After every possession, yeah.
Yeah, it's if you kick it deep to him and he returns it 45 yards, that's bad coverage. That's what you're fearful of. But you're just giving it to him freely anyway. What you do is you just tell your kicker and say, "Hey, I want you to aim for the 15-yard line, between the 15 and 20, and you just kick it as high as you can down the sideline. You should practice that. You kick it in the air, then the guy has to make a decision to fair catch it. At least your coverage team can get down there." So never got the squib. It's just a faster kick to the return team.
Yeah.
It's overrated. You never really see it work perfectly, where a regular kickoff would not have worked. Does that make sense? No, I just lost my train of thought. Dang it, guys. You got me.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, I was going to say with Wyoming, and I'm going to say it with this instance as well, should have ran it. I think running it was the right call against Wyoming a few years ago. And I think we should have ran it to get one more first down before we started kneeing.
You think, but I think it's everything being wet was a factor in their decision too, just to me.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, you do the math. I mean, against Wyoming, and I can't believe we're still talking about this game, but the scenarios relate. Against Wyoming, and I remember I did the math on this game 100 times, you need it. And even if you took the fourth down playing, and tried to run clock, Wyoming would have had to gone the distance of the field with no timeouts in 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I thought we should have punted it. I wasn't a huge fan of the safety because I thought us doing the punt after the safety was literally the same thing as us punting.
Same thing, yeah.
If
If anything, after the free kick, the clock does not start until Marshall touches the ball.
Right. Yeah. There was 14 seconds left.
Yeah.
When we started the safety. So if he punts it and hangs it in the air, and if he kicks it out of bounds, you're probably left with 8 seconds left anyways. Marshall's back on their 30. There's no chance of them being at the 50. And then if they get a miracle fucking play, if they get a miracle play, they can tie game. Though I said if Marshall scored, they probably would have went for 2. But that's a.
So all right, that's that. I think we've kind of got that out of our system. That was important. Well, I guess like Jack said, this got us to bowl eligibility. Everybody probably saw the bowling highlight with where did we get bowling pins and a bowling ball to have a celebration like that, which was pretty great. But so obviously really exciting. Bowl eligible since 2013, the beginning and end of the Brian Wright era as head coach, and but this year we will absolutely be going to a bowl game as opposed to sitting home at that time, and there's been a lot of speculation, and I I wanted to talk about bowl games, but I thought we'd talk a little bit later on in the year, maybe get to, I don't know, Thanksgiving or so before we started talking about it. But everybody's talking about it. It's all over Twitter. It's certainly all over the board at FAUOwlsNest.com. It's so I don't know. I think there's a couple things. I think the best for the university attendance-wise would be the Gasparilla in Tampa. FAU's got a huge alumni population in Tampa, probably the most active alumni. There's Hillsborough County is like our third or fourth largest county where students come from. I mean, it's centrally located. People from the south, people from the north can all come. So that's kind of, I think, the best thing. I don't know, Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, you also got to figure, this is, and I'm very anti-Boca Bowl for just so many reasons, us playing in it, just for, we might play hopefully a conference championship game at home, and you just want to give the kids something different. It'll be during winter break. So, a lot of the students who are from Orlando and Tampa would be able to attend the game as well, just to go on the road. I think kind of with the bowl speculation, let's see how it plays out. Let's see which bowls Power 5 teams don't qualify for. I think FAU should take the best team that's available. If they have a chance to play a P5 school on the other side of the country, take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get these chances. So people got to remember that some bowls care, but most bowls don't care about attendance. That's why people are like, well, why is FAU in the Albuquerque Bowl? Well, it's because the Albuquerque Bowl or New Mexico Bowl is in Albuquerque. And they know that many people are going to travel to that game regardless, okay? So the difference between a few thousand fans, whether they get like a Mountain West team, doesn't make a difference. They'd rather have Lane Kiffin in their bowl watching that game, when everyone's home during the holidays. So, I've seen San Diego State as a game we'd play, against them, who's a really good G5 team, beat Stanford this year. So I'm looking for like the matchup, as opposed to us being able to play a home game. Take the team that draws the most out. Playing USF, would be great for us. Like Duke in Charlotte, take advantage of that opportunity is, what I want out of a bowl.
Yeah.
I agree with you about the Boca Bowl. No way. It shouldn't be something that the Boca Bowl would want. It shouldn't be something that the football program would want. And it should not be something FAU fans should want.
Could you imagine, one thing on the Boca Bowl, could you imagine if they put us as the away team and then they make the FAU fans sit on the opposite side during that game? They could even do that. It's not like I could just see it not going right for the school.
Well, Ken Levica said, and I think the number one reason why we won't get the Boca Bowl and why the Boca Bowl does not want us is they have too many hotel and travel partners a part of the Boca Bowl. They don't want the local fans because more local fans, they're not going to stay in the hotels. They're not going to boost the economy, I guess you could say. They're not going to be flying down here to kind of the whole hospitality industry. That's why the Boca Bowl, Shane, like you said, they each kind of have their priorities. The Boca Bowl wants to sell, beautiful weather in December, right? They don't need to sell beautiful weather in December to a school, to the school where it's hosted at.
Yeah, a couple years ago, Toledo traveled really well here. It's because it's December 22nd, and half the town of Toledo is like, "You want to go to Boca?"
Right.
It's not Toledo, that hard.
Temple, Northern Illinois, Marshall, when they were down there, it's a great bowl for teams in the Midwest and the Northeast. Not so much for FAU. I'm on the same boat with you guys. I think we should go out and play the best team we can find. Sometimes that means a Group of 5 team, like San Diego State, as you said, Shane. I mean, they were ranked earlier this year. They beat a really good Stanford team. But maybe if we have a shot of playing a Duke or one of the smaller ACC or maybe an SEC team, that could be a good fun. But I'll put my money on the Gasparilla Bowl over at the beautiful, wondrous Tropicana Field. I'd like to see maybe us play Memphis or someone like that. We play USF in a couple years. We have a series coming up with them. It would be interesting, but then they would have more fans than us. I don't like how we'd match up against the Bulls. But you know what? We haven't been to a bowl game in a decade, so who are we to really say right now?
Yeah, beggars can't be choosers.
It's
we're not begging. We're not going to be begging by the end of the season.
That's true. Yeah,
we can be choosers. If we win the rest of our games, we'll be choosers.
Yeah. Good point. You get to choose, man. That's it.
If these ESPN bowl games want eyes, and these bowl games want Lane Kiffin.
Well, if they want eyes,
5 bowl games.
If they want eyes, let's get Tennessee against FAU in the belt.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That might be the most watched non-New Year's bowl game. No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
Right after the holiday. It's like Boxing Day or something, isn't it? It's right after Christmas Day.
Yeah, I don't think Tennessee's going to be bowl eligible. I think they got their last win. I mean, if they beat Vander, I think they have like Vandy left. I don't know who else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would Lane Kiffin beating Tennessee at the end of a really bad season, if they happen to get 6 wins, would be you can't write that stuff. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. But also remember, a lot of these guys who, for like CBS Sports and all this, they're not doing a ton of research on who goes to G5 bowl games. You know what I mean? They have like a general idea, and so you're reading so much into it, and like they're not really focusing and knowing what these smaller bowls want. So they're just putting stuff so they can get clicks on a Monday.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, everything's going to change if somebody loses. If FAU loses one of these games, we'll see what ends up happening. But so I guess we'll move on to Louisiana Tech. We'll kind of finish up here pretty quickly because we're kind of running over time, I think. Louisiana Tech, they are 3-4, I believe. They've had some close losses.
4-5, yeah.
4 and 5. They've had some close losses. 2-3 in Conference USA. They beat Western Kentucky. Lost to UAB. Also, obviously, a couple other CUSA teams. But, again, FAU is going to be favored. FAU's probably the better team here. FAU is the better team here. If FAU plays FAU's game like we have in the past, I think we'll be okay.
All of Tech's games recently have been pretty close, at least the conference games. Western Kentucky was a close win. They lost to UAB on a blocked field goal. They lost to Southern Miss in double overtime. That Rice game, they won by 14. They scored those last 14 points in the final 2 minutes. It was tied 28 apiece. They just lost to North Texas last week. But I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. I don't have it written down in front of me. So they play teams well. They're probably going to be playing ticked off, just like how Marshall was, looking for something to prove. Going off what you guys kind of said before the show, we're going to have to play our game. If we take care of ourselves, we could separate ourselves by a few touchdowns, give ourselves some insurance, which could be nice against a scrappy Tech team.
Jeffrey Wilson averaged over 8 yards a carry versus them this past week, and he only had a long at 20, so it's not like there was just one big run to –
Yeah.
We should be able to run the ball. They're not as talented as the Western Kentucky team or Marshall team we've seen the last couple of weeks. Though Ruston is a very isolated place, it's tough to play there. They're a pretty good following. Skip Holtz is an experienced coach. They've had some issues with him and some of his play calling at the end of games. I've been reading. They have a young dual threat quarterback. So he isn't accurate. His completion percentage is under 58, just kind of 57, 56% range. So, which doesn't favor well for him in that. If you come out and you're going to throw balls behind guys and stuff, we're going to be there to pick them off. So,
Yeah.
They've scored points in bunches in the past, so you can't be looking ahead. We can't be, thinking about this. I think this coaching staff does a good job. I think we have good leaders on the team, like Aziz we talked about earlier, kind of get us through this. And, this team hasn't won in so long. I think they're just having so much fun. You kind of see with the winning now that I don't really see them, getting tired of it or bored with it yet. So,
Yeah.
yet.
I don't think they're going to take it for granted. Like,
Yeah,
they're going to do what they're asking. And again, like you said, the coaching staff has done a really good job of kind of tempering those wins. And Lane Kiffin's going crazy now with rat poison. I saw he posted a picture of a rat rod. He said we're going to put it outside of the building. That was really funny.
What do you think Nick thinks of that? I just want to know what Nick Saban knows. And he's in his evil lair. Reading.
Yeah.
Kiffin's Twitter feed. What he's thinking.
Yeah, and that's like, looking ahead or looking past another team, especially with FIU. This could be the game where we're looking past FIU. Shula Bowl is going to be really important.
Game day.
Game day.
Potentially game day. So,
yeah, let's all root for Iowa this week.
Yeah.
To beat Wisconsin. Let's make Michigan loses, Iowa win, Wisconsin loses. Let's make that game as meaningless as possible.
Yeah. So this could be the game where there could be a bit of a letdown, but like you mentioned, we've got really good team leaders like Aziz. We've got some experienced players. I think we'll be okay. Games at 3:30 on the Stadium Network. Great. I love watching games on the Stadium Network. On the Twitter one. So
I was the one. I'll say it publicly. I was the one that said that I'm a bit concerned about a letdown or looking ahead towards FIU with all the hype. We have all these great leaders, but they're still kids. And we've never been here before, guys. I mean, all of us are looking ahead to next week, and we're not even the ones playing. We're the grown-ups here. So we'll see. I think Tech will keep it close, but dude, I've been so wrong on my previous predictions. Just screw it at this point.
I think we could see what we did in the past, where they could keep it close, but eventually FAU makes that play. We have the interception, Motor has the big run, Driscoll finds the big pass, like that. There's that one or two plays that happen every game that separate us.
Yeah.
The thing is what gets teams in trouble on the road, and especially in upset games, is turning over the football. And our coaching staff hasn't put Driscoll in a position to turn over the football. I mean, that's been the difference between us and these other teams. He's not. Driscoll manage the game, get us in the right offense, and get it to our great athletes, and they're going to make enough plays during the game. Meanwhile, like I said earlier, other coaches are coming out here letting their guys whip it around 40 times. So we're not doing that. So I just don't see. They're not going to. They're going to put this game in the hands of the guys they know that are going to win it.
Right.
Yeah. Which is Motor. So there you go.
Yeah.
I don't mean this with any disrespect towards Tech, but I do not understand why they were projected to not even win the West, but win the whole conference. This isn't the same team with Jeff Driscoll and Kenneth Dixon and one of the best offenses in the nation when they were there. I struggle to find leaders on this team. They have a running back by committee. They have 3 guys running it. They're all just below or just at 500 yards rushing already this season. Meanwhile, Motor is at 1,300. Buddy's right behind him. Kareth White is there. I just don't understand that hype. So they had high expectations. They've been throwing in the face. They're going to play us tough, so let's see what happens.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess that'll about do it for us. Like I said, game starts 3:30 on the Stadium Network. And as always, thank you guys for checking us out. Don't forget to, if you're not following us on Twitter, at Inside the Borough, definitely check us out there. And check out FAUAllisness.com for the game thread and for the bowl prediction, as that thread is just exploding. So check it out there as well. So
and tweet at College Game Day.
And tweet at College Game Day and give all the bad juju you can to Michigan and go Iowa.
Yeah, I just want to talk next week about who's going to be our guest picker.
Yes, we should do a poll on Twitter.
Yeah, next week we'll do a poll if it's Carrot Top. Let's see, Eric Gunn. Yeah,
it could be someone from Boca. It doesn't have to be an alumni. It's not always an alumni.
That's true. Yeah, they've done that.
I mean,
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think all the Miami fans are going to be excited as Brian Winovich tweeted out to see campus for the first time this weekend. So,
yeah, we could College Game Day from the beach. That'd be pretty sick. So, all right. Well, thanks for Jack and Shane for being on with us tonight. We ran a little overboard, but we had a lot to talk about, so I think it was worth it. So, thanks as always, and we'll see you next time. Go Owls.